I'm going to talk now about the independent styles quite a bit because these are the folks that tend to be more problematic for us with respect to character disturbance. And let me say before getting into that, that for most of us who are relatively well-adjusted personalities, we've worked out a healthy balance between to what degree we depend on others and to what degree we depend on ourselves. So we have a relatively healthy sense of independence and our ability to take care of ourselves and our need for other people. We have that in proper balance. I'm using this metaphor of describing these other personality types as extremes on a continuum, pathological extremes, where problems are created because the style is too far in one camp versus the other, if that makes sense. Like I said, most of us have achieved a healthy balance there. But with some personalities, the balance hasn't been struck. They're either way over-reliant on others to bring emotional satisfaction into their lives, or they are too self-reliant. One type of independent personality is the passive independent, or as some people call, egoistic or egotistic personality. This is the person who is so confident in their own ability to take care of themselves, who when they go looking for the satisfaction that they want in life and they get up in the morning and they see that reflection in the mirror, they have all they need right there. These are the folks who don't have to do anything to maintain that sense of independence. It's what they don't do. They don't really reach out to meaningfully connect with others because they have all they need already. That doesn't mean they won't use and abuse others. It just means that they don't really need others in the same way most of us do. They find all the resources that they want right here. And they don't have to do anything to maintain that perspective. It's what they don't do that maintains that perspective. What they don't do is they don't see any particular value in what others bring to the table and what they could benefit from by some kind of mutual dependency in a sense. So they are inordinately self-reliant and inordinately self-confident. Sometimes their sense of what they're worth and what they're capable of exceeds all rational boundaries, but they're pretty well convinced that they've got all they really need going for them, and they don't really, frankly, need anybody else. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't surround themselves with other folks and that they won't especially cultivate basically a following of admirers. As a matter of fact, I think erroneously, in our traditional clinical descriptions of these folks, we've talked about their need for admiration and adulation. This is not a need, it's a desire. And it's not really that they need this to make themselves feel good about themselves. They already feel too good about themselves. But they like the fact that when other people worship at their feet, this confirms their self-perception that they're really all that. So this bolsters their sense of excessive self-worth when they manage to get others to kowtow to their demands, to shower them with attention, praise, give them the adulation that they desire not that they need. The traditional conceptualization is that underneath it all, see, they don't really feel like much. And I have to say, I have met some more neurotic narcissists. I have. But on balance, for the most part, it's a dangerous assumption. On balance, for the most part, most folks in the narcissistic camp really do believe they're all that and are much more character disturbed than they are neurotic. On balance. It's a pretty risky assumption to assume that the person that you are dealing with is somebody with some kind of like either a Napoleon complex or a savior complex underneath it all. I've seen those. They do exist, but it's not as widespread, and it's a dangerous blanket assumption to make that the person you're dealing with who acts like they're superior, underneath it doesn't feel like that. That's a very dangerous assumption. Most of the time, they really do think they're all that. They have no concept of a higher power. They can't even conceive of a power greater than themselves. And in the case of the most character-disturbed personality that there is, they actually think of themselves as a superior creature to the rest of us who have these characteristics that they regard as imperfections. You know, these characteristics like we get squeamish about certain things. Well, the fact that you get squeamish keeps you from doing certain things that they actually dare to do. And frankly, from the way they see it, the fact that they dare to do it and you get squeamish is a testament to their superiority over you. You are self-limiting in your squeamishness, for example, whereas they're not stopped. And they translate that into meaning, I'm better. But I am kind of almost like a genetically superior creature to you because I don't have that same shortcoming or failure. And in the most pathological example, which is the psychopath, this degree of narcissism is so malignant, as some people call it, that they look with disdain upon folks who are not like them. And they see them lower on the food chain. Which one, I know that there are actually some people, there are actually some among us who feel unnerved actually about, say, killing an animal for food. And therefore they have dedicated their lives to leading an animal-free dietary regimen. But who among us would actually like feel bad about plucking a cucumber off its stalk and just munching it to death? You know, after all, this is the baby of the plant, right? This is the progeny of this biological creation, right? And you're eating the baby, right? You're masticating it and incorporating it into yourself. Who among us has some trepidation about that? We don't, right? We regard the plant as kind of a lowly thing, right? And we have needs after all, right? We're bidding for our own survival here. If one of those little babies has to perish so that we can survive, we don't think anything of it. This is the attitude. This is the core of the attitude of the malignancy of the narcissism of the most character-disturbed individual. They take the narcissism of the egotistic personality to its most pathological extreme. They see most of us as a subspecies. And this is what grants them the sense of entitlement to prey, P-R-E-Y, upon us. The reason they don't think anything of it is the same reason we don't think anything of plucking that cucumber from the bush. It's only a cucumber. You're only one of those lower life forms. They're here. You're here. If you were here, it'd be a different story. You're here. They have a perfect right to do with you as they please. That's how they see it.